World War II memorial site. And one of the last things that we did was there was a wall of names of people who died in the resistance. And I said, I can look for my name. And of course I don't know any of these people, but there were 5 names, 5 people with my name. And I decided then, I think on the ride home, to write a fictional piece about these women and the SS, and that is what this is. And it's called No Compunction. Forgive my voice. Some within the resistance during World War II knew of others assisting the Jews, the gypsies, the homosexuals. But most kept everything secret for their safety. They had to. It was all they could do to stay alive. She waited quietly outside the Stalag so that she could help British pilots captured by the Third Reich. But when they escaped at 6 a.m. under a blanket of Nazi gunfire, they all fell, coloring the snowy field in a crimson red. Despite losing her life in Houston in silence, she never knew of her relatives, Johanna, Petronella, Marie, who all would have had a similar fate and be killed at the hands of the Third Reich. Marie was a lowlander, and she never got involved in politics, but she couldn't sit by and do nothing when her pharmacist, her daughter's teachers, her next-door neighbor were shipped to distant concentration camps. Marie stayed awake through the night on her last night alive, with a candle lit in her front window, waiting for 2 men, Jacob and Haim, so that she could conceal them behind her plaster and lime mock wall before they could travel on to safety. She stared all night along the barren road near the train tracks and the forest edge, and only saw 2 figures in the distance once daylight broke. So she left the candle burning, left her daughters, grabbed her coat, and ran out the front door to take them in. But when they were only 20 meters apart, she saw the dark truck coming toward them, littered with swastikas. So she turned across the train tracks and get to the still blooming rows of trees. Jacob and Haim followed. The SS men didn't even get out of their truck when they started shooting at them. The SS had no compunction of killing the Jews or the homosexuals or the resistance. When Marie saw Haim shot first, her only thought was that Haim is Hebrew for life, before she and Jacob were both gunned down. The squad leader shot the male Jewish noses, could identify the small, strong Dutch female, and thought about what fun he could have had with her. He scanned the skyline for her possible home, then signaled the men to go after spotting the one house in the distance down the road. They violently knocked on the door after seeing the one lit candle in the window. They beat again on the door before the frightened 16-year-old Johanna made sure that everyone was hidden, wondered where her mother was, and finally opened her front door. The 3 SS men stood there, each with greed in their eye. Wo ist dein Vater? She told him that her father died years ago. Her younger sister, Petronella, walked toward her before he asked, Wo ist deine Mutter? She said she didn't know where her mother was. The 3 men walked in, and they told her this was a random search, and they asked if anyone else was home. Spotting the unpainted plaster and lime wall after Johanna said no, the leader walked toward the wall and knocked. Thought he heard a noise, and he asked if the room was smaller than before. And before Johanna could answer about the last search, the squad leader stepped back, and the other 2 men pointed their Lugers at the unpainted wall, adorned with a single oil painting. In an effort to somehow alert the wall of this small trapped family, young Petronella said she wanted to save the painting, and then she walked toward the painting on the wall. And then they opened fire and killed young Petronella where she stood. Johanna muffled her screams in shock and disbelief. Warum du dies? Why was all she could ask. The squad leader walked to her, jerked her head back by her hair. War das Häusliche, she was the ugly one. He told her before he took her to a bedroom to rape her, while the other two listened for noises from the fake wall before they took turns raping Johanna. When one of them would hear a noise from the unpainted wall, they fired one shot. They didn't know if they hit anyone, but the noise would stop. After they'd finished raping the Dutch girl repeatedly, the nearly unconscious Johanna smelled petrol. They poured everywhere in her home. They poured more on the unpainted wall before they left the house to set it aflame. They stood outside and waited in case any vermin tried to run free. They all had their guns pointed. They were ready. As the flames of their little furnace died down, they all lit their matches on the dying embers and got in their truck, driving away. The three were pleased, proud that they saved space on the next train to Brooklyn. And I'm sure that didn't happen, but I feel like this fiction I wrote happened, and I get very sad thinking about it. This is not that way. This is happier. The second ones will always be happier. I recently did a show at the Palmer Event Center, and it was all about peace and connectivity, so my second one's going to be happier. This one is called Aches and Pains. Had a really heavy workload. Months went by, the workload piled, the boyfriend was bringing me down. And I'd wake up every day in so much pain. Shoulder, elbow, back, and knees. The pain brought me to the doctor. And after the blood test, they found nothing wrong. But they guessed it was arthritis and gave me really strong pills. They'd make me dizzy. They knocked me out, but they didn't relieve the pain. So after 4 months, I got away. Got away from the work. Got away from the boyfriend, enjoyed the sun and the sand, and felt at peace again. And that's when I realized I didn't need the boyfriend, and I can handle the work, so I didn't need the pills. And the aches and pains, they went away. And that only happened when I brought peace back again.